Global happenings today. We communicate. We analyze global news.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. It's getting clearer to Asse, Wike and Fubara, both of the camps, that business is no longer usual as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the sitting president, have decided to give them a powerful stunt. And to tell you the truth, it's no longer funny for Riverians living in Rivers State, as things are definitely going south. But before we go to the news proper to find out exactly the final card being played right now that is really not looking nice for Riverians, so like and subscribe to our channel. Let's quickly dive into the news to find out the latest move being made right now. Now, according to the news, in the absence of suspended Rivers governor, similarly for Fubara, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has sent a budget proposal of 1.48 trillion naira for Rivers State government to the National Assembly. According to Tinubu, it was necessary for him to do so since Supreme Court had nullified the budget presented to the illegitimate faction of the Rivers State House of Assembly. He also said it was necessary because of the emergency rule in Rivers State. Now, given the breakdown of the budget, Tinubu said 324 billion naira would be spent on infrastructure. He also said 166 billion naira would be expanded on health, while 75.6 billion naira will be used on education. He said 31.4 billion naira would go for agriculture. Now urging the National Assembly to pass the budget, Tinubu said agriculture alone was projected to about 6,000 jobs. President Tinubu in March suspended Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Odo, and the Rivers State House of Assembly for 6 months following the protracted political crisis and the security threat that engulfed this.
Forwarding of Rivers State Government 2025 Appropriation Bill for consideration by the National Assembly. Further to the nullification of the 2025 budget of Rivers State by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, please find forwarded herewith the 2025 Appropriation Bill for Rivers State for consideration of the Senate. The distinguished Senate may wish to recall that Rivers State is currently under emergency rule, which was proclaimed and duly gazetted in March 2025. Regulation 4, subsection 2F of the Emergency Rule 2025 requires authorization for expenditure from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of Rivers State for its activities. In the absence of the State Assembly, it's expected that the National Assembly acts on their behalf. Hence, the request for the approval of the Senate for the Rivers State Government 2025 Appropriation Bill. The appropriation bill for the year 2025 is in the total sum of 1,481 billion, wherein the sum of 324 billion is for infrastructure, both ongoing and new projects, while the sum of 166 billion is for the health sector, including 5 billion for free drugs for treatment of malaria and other common ailments. The sum of 75.6 billion is proposed for the educational sector, and the sum of 31.4 billion is proposed for agricultural purposes. The spending plan prioritizes investment in critical sectors of the states, such as infrastructure, health, including drugs for malaria and other common ailments, education, and also agriculture, which is projected to generate approximately 6,000 jobs. Accordingly, I hereby forward the Rivers State Government 2025 Appropriation Bill and trust that it will receive the expeditious consideration of the Senate. Please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished Senators, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the ad hoc committee on emergency rule in Rivers State, the Senate ad hoc committee, to revert to us as soon as practicable.
There has been back and forth movement by Fubara scam and Asse wike scam. Asse wike said that Fubara is his political son, that they are actually not quarreling. He only has issues with those who are deceiving him, the likes of Omehia and Co. Okpara, Austin Okpara, them. That he has no problem with his political son. How can he fight his political son? Well, why they are still busy quarreling? Rivers State has become the federal government state. Other states are states. Other states have some level of sovereignty that they enjoy. They pass their budget. They have the National Assembly. They're running their state independently. Their executive arm is working. But for Fubara State, Asse wike State, the FCT Minister State in Rivers State seem to be an arm of the federal government. It's really getting very uninteresting, I must say. But my colleague is in the house. What's your take on this latest move made by the president? Do you really think this issue of 6 months will definitely be 6 months indeed?
Well, unfortunately, it has happened and it has happened. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's an unconstitutional move, by the federal government. But unfortunately, whatever the president has rolled out as a budget, if the emergency rule was approved by, the National Assembly, there is no way they wouldn't approve the budget and the state will start running the way it should run. Now, don't forget that when we're talking about budget, we're talking about, especially in a state like, in a sovereign state like Rivers State, we're talking about 1 full year. An annual budget is what the president has prepared and has handed over.
So he's not leaving by 6 months.
So the 6 months, we are not so sure. We are not so sure that everything was going to be all right, because the president has decided to take up Rivers State like Abuja and like Nigeria. So it's now his paid project. I'm going to run it. I'm going to teach them how to do it. And no one can predict if by 6 months everything will be all right, because unfortunately, the president never told us that he was going to prepare budget for them. Okay, he has prepared. But the key things that he said he was going to do, like setting up a panel of inquiry into the case and resolving the crisis, nobody is saying anything about that. And the president has gone ahead to say, because the Supreme Court said there was nothing like governance in Rivers State, I have to take over the running of the state. So right now, similarly for Fubara, possibly his prediction is going to come to pass, because he says that his spirit is no more in government house. So if his spirit is no more in government, it means he's lackadaisical about whatever that is happening in Rivers State. And exactly, it seems as though the president is also aligning with his statement and doing the needful.
One more question. Do you think that Asse wike may also have a hand in the running of this affair? Because let's tell ourselves the truth. If the president himself is personally writing to the National Assembly, it's as good as confirmed that budget will be run. And with this president personally writing to the National Assembly, it has exonerated Ibas. Even if he, at whatever point in time, decided to say, okay, Ibas did not do this, did not do that. Well, the truth is, you have to say the president did not do this or did not do that, because actually the president that sent him. So there's some level of immunity clause, quote and unquote, though not constitutional, being put on Ibas that could help him to spend the money based on instruction from the president and the powers that be. Do you think Wike could also have a say and a way in the running of Rivers State as of now?
I cannot really tell, but the president cannot run Rivers State in isolation. Right now, the powers that be, especially those who are on his side, he will be using them to run the state. Ibas has given him that budget, as much as we know. The governor, that's the president, does not know anything about Rivers State. He has no idea of projects that we've been, because if you look at it, I didn't hear much about infrastructure in that his budget. But be that as it may, he is going to be running the state as though, based on any info given to him by Ibas. So Ibas will hand over. Remember, he has said that he will be personally involved in the running of Rivers State. So Ibas is just kept there as an overseer. As he's just there to oversee, the administration. But key things like budgeting and all of them will put their heads together. Possibly input here and there will come in. I don't know if Wike will also be involved in it, but the truth is that the budget is out. So right now, I think Every other thing is totally insignificant, and unfortunately, we have to pedal the boat the way it is. Rivers State people need to accept their fate. There's nothing like democracy in Rivers State because right now, the president is fully in charge of that state.
Having tasted how sweet Rivers State is, do you think the likes of Ibas and the president would love to let go? Even if it is 6 months time, do you see them letting go of Rivers national
I cannot predict the actions of Mr. President, but we are talking about politics here. Don't forget, the next few years, 2027 precisely, or let me say 2026, because the whole campaign thing will start 2026. There will be primaries, they will be moving around the whole this thing and all of that.
And you think, in all honesty, with all of this move being made by the president, he would get votes from Rivers State?
Whether the truth is that if the president won the election when he was outside, presidency Asse Rock, he won, the elections. Then now that he is there, win all the agencies,
he will overwin it.
Come on, what are we saying? It's a case of if I no score the match, no go finish. So that's just the situation. The president is not just a starter like Fubara in politics. He's been there as long as he's someone who is a general in politics. So it's a case
Nigerian
of
politics.
If I no score the last goal, that will make it 3-2. The match no go win. Exactly.
Okay, all right, let's go wrap it up. Let's meet in our conversation. What's your take? Honestly, I feel the fight was actually unnecessary. To think that all of a sudden Rivers State is now a pet project of the